All right, so it's been a little bit of a interesting couple of days when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, in addition to a new potential PlayStation Portable that's out there. So I wanted to break down kind of what's happening and give my take on both of these topics. But before we get into that, what's good everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell, and let me know what you think when the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be announced at this point, and what you think about a potential Sony return to a dedicated PlayStation device, which we're going to talk about. So let's jump into this here, guys. Let's start with the Nintendo Switch 2 information. There's been a lot of videos. Obviously, people are making them all over the place. People are bringing up all sorts of rumors. There's been a million different things that channels will post pretty much every single day about some rumor this, some rumor that. But as we inch closer towards Nintendo's financial year ending in March, and Nintendo stating 100% confirmed that they will announce or talk or give us more information about the Nintendo Switch 2 before the end of March, which they've already done that a little bit. They did tell us, hey, it's going to be backwards compatible. Okay, great, but they haven't shown anything, which I think that they meant that they will actually reveal the system and give us some solid information about what's going on with it. As we get closer, it does seem like 2024 for reveal of this thing is probably not going to happen at all. So it looks like it's more going to be 2025. Now, there was a rumor from Nintendo Prime where he talked about something where he found on a message board when it comes to Famiboards that Nintendo is going to be gearing up for a January reveal of the system and a launch in March. So it's going to be revealed in January and it's going to launch 2 months later. Yeah, that's what the rumor says, which I kind of just looked at that and scoffed a little bit, thinking to myself, like, my first impression was, what? Just announced in January and released in March? And I do think that that is way too small of a window in terms of from a reveal to a launch. But then I started thinking, let me think about it a little bit more. Nintendo's obviously waiting quite some time, right? When it comes down to it, we know that this Nintendo Switch 2 is probably going to be a evolution of what we already got. So it's not going to be some type of massive gimmick departure. It's going to be a hybrid platform. It's going to probably have a dock. It's going to be a portable type of system, and that you can dock it in there, which makes it the hybrid. So you can have the home console and the portable aspect. It seems like it's going to have a different type of Joy-Con based off of the leaks that we've gotten so far. It looks like it's going to be just a way better Nintendo Switch. And then under the hood, there's going to be a number of improvements. And it looks like Nintendo is going to be improving some things on the back end when it comes to the online and what they're doing there. The Nintendo Switch Online playtest kind of proved that. So it looks like they're trying to take what they've already done and just blow it up even bigger overall. So almost like the PlayStation strategy where they essentially have the same system every time, but then they just add on top of that, make it way stronger. And generally, it's the same gimmick for the most part. Now, I still think that Nintendo, they're going to throw in some wrinkles here and there, right? They came out of nowhere with HD Rumble. Now everybody's pretty much wanting to do some type of haptics or HD Rumble, right? Which we've gotten some stuff like that before, but not to the level that Nintendo did it. Then, of course, PlayStation and other systems have now tried to come out and say, hey, we're going to do something like that as well. So Nintendo might take what we do know and throw a wrinkle into it. So they started the whole Rumble thing back in the day. Maybe there's something else that they got for us when it comes to the Joy-Cons, when it comes to like an accelerometer, when it comes to something. So I do feel that, yes, it's probably going to be very largely like the Nintendo Switch, and there's even some rumors that are stating that it's going to be a Nintendo Switch 2, like that's the name of the system, is Nintendo Switch 2, but once again, we'll have to wait and see on that. But I do feel that they are going to throw in something. But if they are going to pretty much do the same type of gimmick for the most part, with very few or other things that's kind of not necessarily changed over what they've done, then a reveal in January and a launch in March is absolutely possible. Now, I still don't think that it's likely, but it's absolutely possible because we're getting closer and closer to the end of that financial year. And Nintendo hasn't stated anything when it comes to any solid details with the system itself in terms of a reveal. They've just given us little bits of information here and there, but really nothing solid at all with this system. There's barely anything, and we've gotten a few leaks here and there, but really developers have been tight-lipped when it comes to what the system's going to be and everything like that. Now, yes, Are there developers that have the dev kits and know exactly what it's going to be and have a general timeline of when they think or when they feel the system's going to launch? Absolutely. But those NDAs are hitting harder than they've ever hit at this point, because we are probably getting way closer to the launch than we realize, and there really hasn't been any major development leaks or anything. And we've had a few devs actually say, hey, we have a game that's going to be coming for the successor to Nintendo Switch, but that's not anything new. Heck, even Nintendo themselves have announced games before the successor's even ready to go or even close to that. We've seen that multiple times. So that's not anything new overall, but it's definitely very interesting. Now, I do feel that with this Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the case is, Nintendo has a pretty much, I would say, a lock or kind of like a chokehold on this whole hybrid thing. They're still number one in terms of dedicated systems. There's the ROG Ally, and then there's their Steam Deck, and there's these other systems. But honestly, none of those do the type of volume that Nintendo does. So Nintendo could actually pull the Apple approach, where they announce something and have a pretty fast turnaround. Now, Nintendo's turnaround for the Nintendo Switch was actually pretty quick. Like, it was, I think they revealed it in October, and that baby launched in March. So that's a pretty small turnaround. Now, once again, January to March, that's way smaller, but it just seems like it's so improbable. But once again, if this thing's just an evolution and Nintendo can quickly market and say exactly what it is, hey, you have a Switch, this is the next one. Hey, all of your games that you have, hey, you can play those on this next system. Hey, guess what? We have the brand new Mario Kart. We have the brand new 3D Mario game. We have the brand new Smash Brothers. We have the brand new Zelda. Whatever the case is, right? If they can market it in a way to where they can clearly define and say, hey, this is the next thing, and you don't have to wait very long to get it. So if you already got your Switch, get ready. The next one's coming, or maybe you wait for the holiday. I think that, once again, it is possible that it does have a even shorter turnaround than what we saw with the Nintendo Switch. Now, one thing that I do a lot, and I know that other people also do, is like look at the past in terms of what Nintendo's done. Can't always look at the past, though. That's one thing that you also have to be careful for, because Nintendo can be unpredictable at times. So looking at the past and saying, oh, well, they only give about this much time. Well, before in the past, before the Nintendo Switch, they gave way more time before they announced the full details of a system and then it launched. Usually it was like a year or something like that. They would have it at E3, then it would take like another year or so. They'd be getting everything ready, and it was way shorter this time around with the Nintendo Switch. So maybe that got them thinking, hey, I'm going to be bold about this. We can do an even shorter time window, and people are still buying the Nintendo Switch despite the sales going down year on year, or whatever the case is, or the sales obviously flattening out from what they had at their highs a number of years ago. People are still buying millions upon millions of this system every single number of months. So it's not like people still aren't playing and enjoying the Nintendo Switch overall. Games are still selling for the most part. Systems are still selling for the most part. And they are still number one in some regions like Japan, for example. So I do feel that Nintendo thinks probably that they can have a really smooth transition into this next generation that they have. And really all they have to do is market it as the next thing. Before in the past, you always have these crazy new elaborate gimmicks that take quite some time to explain, or there might be some problems with the media. We don't understand what this is, the Wii U, or is it a tablet extension? Is it an upgrade? Is it like a new system? Whatever the case is, right? People will make up all sorts of stuff to be confused about whatever, overall. But not at this point, that might not be the case, right? This just might be a smooth transition, a smooth, huge upgrade over what we've got in the next system. So like iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3, something like that, right? Or PS1, PS2, PS3. So I think that they might feel that they don't need to have this long, winding down release. Now, I still feel personally that you need to have at least, I would say, 3 to 4 months. That's what I'd give, like at least 3 to 4 months. Pre-orders and other things like that. But apparently Nintendo, if they go by this, hypothetically speaking, they might not feel that way. But I wouldn't bank on it right now, guys. It's just a rumor. I would not bank on that happening, but I wanted to discuss it because it has been picked up by a number of different outlets and people talking about it overall. Now, let's move on to the next topic here, guys, and that's the PlayStation Portable 3 or the PlayStation 5 Portable or something like that. So Bloomberg is reporting that Sony Interactive Entertainment is working on a portable PlayStation 5. Now, the new device currently in the early stages, and people familiar with the matter said this. So Sony Interactive Entertainment is currently in the early, very early stages, it seems like, of developing this portable PlayStation 5 system that can play PlayStation 5 games. Now, the console is aimed at expanding PlayStation's reach and contending with Nintendo for the portable gaming market, and would also act as a counter to any potential mobile hardware from Microsoft Gaming, which recently confirmed it is working on prototypes. Now, according to the People, the portable device is likely years away from launch, and Sony Interactive Entertainment could still decide against releasing it. The PlayStation Portal, Sony Interactive Entertainment's remote player for PlayStation 5 that exceeded expectations, was initially intended to function as a standalone device without the need for a PlayStation, the People said. A Sony Group Corporation spokeswoman declined to comment when contacted by Bloomberg. So let's get into this a little bit. Yes, I do think that Sony is working on a new PlayStation Portable system or PS5 Portable or something, but there was a little thing in there that lets me know that they are very hesitant on things, because they said they'll still decide whether later if they want to release this system or not. And it's a PlayStation 5 Portable, so that means it wouldn't be able to play PlayStation 4 games. I mean, we'd have to wait and see on that, but not being able to play PlayStation 4 games, not being able to play PC games, that would be a huge mistake overall. Now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be people, I think 3-4 years from now, the PS5 is going to have a much bigger library. People are going to be excited to be able to take their PS5 on the go and play. But without PC games, without PlayStation 4 games, you're definitely limiting your overall reach, because if you're talking about in competition with Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever Microsoft is doing, Microsoft is going to release a device where you're going to be able to play all your PC games, you're going to be able to play all of your Xbox One games, probably Xbox Series games. They're going to probably do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's probably going to be something like a Steam Deck. And right now, while these PC portables like ROG Ally, Steam Deck and all that, none of these systems are selling massive numbers, they are making a bit more inroads overall when it comes to some of the market. They are doing something. There are people that enjoy it, especially Steam Deck. Steam Deck probably is the best selling out of the lot, but it's still more of a niche device at this point compared to what Nintendo has done and compared to previous systems in the past that we've seen, even from Sony themselves, right? Like, for example, the PlayStation Portable sold 80 million units. Yeah, I don't see any PC handheld getting anywhere close to selling 80 million units, let alone selling even the Nintendo 3DSs like 75 million. But I do feel that for the dedicated base, obviously it's good. It's all right overall. So I think that Sony might be looking at that, saying, hey, if we can sell this PlayStation Portal, that's a streaming device, for $200, and we can probably make this PS5 Portable years down the line. The technology gets cheaper. We get new technology for PS6. Whatever the case is, we can probably sell this PS5 Portable for like $400, $500 in a few years and make a ton of money off of that, and just have it as, hey, you want to play all of your PS5 games anywhere that you want? That's fine. You do it this way. However, it would be a digital only thing, which once again plays into why Sony's trying to push digital so much. I mean, if you just build an all digital library and then you release a portable PlayStation 5 that's all digital, because clearly you're not going to have spinning PS5 discs in there, then that gives them more value overall for that device, because people will just have all digital and you can play on that device. So I do think that within the PlayStation community, I think that could be okay. I think you could do well enough. Just like the PS Portal, it's not some type of massive selling device. Sony never gave us any expectations. There's no sales numbers, so it's not anything massive, but it's not like the system hasn't sold anything at all. There is a small dedicated base of PlayStation Portal users that are enjoying the device. I have one and it doesn't work well for my setup, even though I have like the fastest internet and all that, but whatever, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I do think that Sony saw some potential there, and they're kind of also waiting and seeing how the technology develops, how the price would be, and of course the adoption of more and more people with all digital. So we'll see what happens there. But what do you guys think about the PlayStation 5 Portable potentially being a thing in a number of years? Maybe, maybe not. What do you think about the Nintendo Switch 2 having a really short launch, or more like announcement to launch? let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out our other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.